Okay, guys. So I go to the lesson plan again, if I go to the lesson plan here, I go to week one. In week one, we need to do a few stuff here. We need to know how to install MySQL Server. And MySQL Server here, it's explained for Mac. So if you have Mac and you have Homebrew, all you have to do just install MySQL and then just start it. That's it. And yeah, you can have MySQL. You can also have a downloader if you want. You can download it as any application. For Ubuntu, if you are using Ubuntu, you need to update your package manager. You need to install MySQL Server, and you need to start it. Yeah, so you need to just to do the stuff here. For Windows, it's just click on this one and you install it. To make sure that you install correctly MySQL, it's been installed server, you can just say MySQL minus u mean for user. So the user, it will be a root. By default, you will have one user called root. Minus p, that means you will provide a password. And that's it. The second one we're gonna see during this week, it will be SQL only. As you know, SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So it's a language for database. Whenever you want to manipulate data, add data, delete data, and so on. So we use SQL quite more often for relational database. So it's a standard programming language. And here there's some future here, data definition. Maybe you can go through them. So it's just theory here. Data manipulations, that means I will be able to insert data, update data, control here, and that means I will be able to access my database. A transaction, we will study transaction at the end. So you have some basic here. We're going to see all of them, join tables. You have some example, but we'll see all that in practice. Also, you have some resources here online. That's first. Second, MySQL, which is a variant of SQL. Remember, MySQL, Postgres, SQL Server, SQLize, they have a little bit different in syntax. And this difference you will know when you try to run your query and it will not work. Then you need to search to find what's the difference between them. Now, the most popular, as I told you, is MySQL. Postgres also, it's quite popular. But the idea here, they're open source. That means I don't need to pay for them. They're quite used in a lot of companies. So yeah, it's great to know. So here's the same idea. We have a lot of syntax we need to learn. Voila, you have some resources and some website also, it will help you to yeah, maybe learn more about SQL. For the project, we will try to see here, either we're gonna do one project or two, either CAT or CAR API. You already done the node part. So now we will just learn how to connect it to the database. So that means we'll store our data in permanent storage like database. Okay, that should be fine. For week two, we need to learn SQLize. SQLize is an ORM. So here is explain also what SQLize. When we use SQLize everything, it will become simple. Why? Because when I want to create a table, I can, for example, user here, I can just import SQLize, and then I can say define what's the name of the table I need to. For example, I want to create users plural, but here I will define it as a singular. That's how SQLize work. Then I'll define what different column I have. I will say ID, a type. I want data type to be integer. I want it to be primary key. I want it to be auto increment to be true. So SQLize, it will make it much easier for us to deal with our database. We will not have to write any query. But then again, that will be for week two. That's basically everything related to SQL database. What's important for me, you need to practice. So to know, really to gain experience in SQL, you need to practice. And the best way to practice is just by doing it here. So what we can do, voila, I'm going to open my terminal here. Voila. Guys, just a question. Did all of you manage to install MySQL Server? Is it working with you? Everything is fine?
Mine is error, by the way.
It's what?
Error.
Error. Okay. Anyone else?
Me too. I have some issue.
Okay.
One.
Anyone else?
I have error too.
Why?
I don't know.
So when you type, for example, MySQL minus your root p, you enter it, give you an error?
That's where I have the issue. It doesn't give me anything. And
So
I
if
I
you
have
had
do,
the same.
and I have to control C to get back to my terminal.
okay, when you do that, you should ask you for your password like that, and voila, and here you need to enter a SQL. So you should see something like that actually.
Yeah, but it didn't ask me for a password. It didn't give me anything. I have to control C to get back to the terminal.
And Emra,
I
I
will,
had the same, but
Yeah.
in Bash. But after
Mm-hmm.
that, I opened the another terminal, the command prompt,
Mm-hmm.
and there it works. So yeah, maybe try
Ah,
like that. Because
yeah,
in
I will
Bash, it
try.
didn't work for me. I had the same problem as you.
Okay, I will try. Thanks, Aga.
Yeah, no problem.
okay, I will check with you. I mean, when we are done here, I will check with all of you to make sure it's working. Don't worry. But now try to focus with me. Let's go little bit by little bit and try to implement. Actually, maybe it will be a good idea to check with all of you first before doing that, because like that you can practice with me. So let me just stop recording for now, at least. So if you see my guys here, so if I type MySQL minus u root minus p, remember minus u is for users. That means the user I'm using is root. Minus p, that means I'm going to provide a password. So if I click enter, it should give me enter password. And if I type my password, I should be able to go inside like that. Voila. Now, the first step I need to do here, I need to be able to create a database. So that's the first thing. I need to be able to create a database, because if I don't have database, I cannot connect my VS Code to my SQL server. Because whenever I'm trying to connect, actually, let me show you. Let me delete that, and let me delete that. Whenever I'm trying to connect, notice if I go, of course, you need to install the tools here, SQL tools. If I click on this one and add connection, it will tell me which variant you are using. Are you using MariaDB, or you're using MySQL or TDB? I'm using MySQL. So as you can see here, it will ask me some information. So I need to be able to provide this information. What's the connection name? Let's name it test. That's okay. Server and port localhost. It will tell me what is the database you want me to connect. Now, for me, I already have database, but for you, probably don't have database. So I'm going to show you how to create your database. I've already created another user as well. His name is Sam. And for the password, I will say, ask me on connections. That means when you try to connect it, I want you to ask me for my password. So as you can see now, it's asking for my password. I can just say that's my password. And it was successfully connected. Let's save the connection. And that should be okay. And if it was successful, now I just need to click on this guy, and it will ask me for my password again. 1, 2, 3. Voila. And here, if it was successful, I will see a green stuff here. As you can see, I have demo database. Inside demo, I don't have anything currently. And I have this file here, which I can save actually. So let's try to save it. File save. Voila, it's been saved. Now I can write my query here. But first, the first step, I need to be able to create a database. Can anyone tell me what is a database? What do you think a database is? What is a database?
The storage.
It's a collection of data. Yes, it's a collection of tables. So a database simply is collection of data. So now I am inside my SQL. As you can see, I can write my command to create any data. First, to show all the database, I can just say show databases like that with S, and I need to end all my SQL command with semicolon. And as you can see, it will show me all the database I have. So currently I have demo. As you can see, those are not mine. I will not touch them. I created one called demo. Okay, now what if I want to create another database? Well, to create a database, it's simple. All I have to do, I just need to say create database like that, and the name of my database. So let's name it, for example, I will name it test, and I need to end it with semicolon. Click, and now as you can see, say query. Okay, that means it was successful. One row is affected. Now, if I want to show again my database, as you can see, now I have tests here. And that's how simply we can create a database. Okay, fine. What if I want to drop the database? And by drop, I mean I want to delete it. So how can I drop database? Any idea? How can I drop database?
Delete database.
No, it's just a drop. Drop database, and the name of my database, which will be test. Simple. Click, and voila. And now here, if I show my database again, as you can see, I do have no more test anymore. So the first step you need to do in your terminal, you need to create a database. After you create a database, then you can connect using your VS Code or dbeaver or MySQL Workbench, whatever editor you are using. It doesn't matter really. They are just different editor to deal with MySQL Server. Why we are using editor? To make it much easier. I mean, here I need to write everything correct, and I need to be very careful if I make mistake. But if I'm doing it in the editor, I mean, it will be much easier, better. If I have any syntax error, my editor will tell me, so it make it much easier. Okay, so now we know how to create a database. Now we know how to drop a database. Now, currently, I have my database, as you can see, and I am connected here. Now, what I need to know now, I need to know how to use database. And you may tell me, what do I mean by use? So use, how to use database like that. So normally when I'm working with, sorry for that, how to use database. Normally when I'm working with database, I would have a lot of database. And I need somehow to tell my query, my SQL, that I want to use this database. So my work, it will be at this specific database. In order to do so, I can use this command, use database. And my database here I want to use is called demo. Voila. And the name must be exactly the same. So demo, and I will end it with semicolon. So that's what simply mean use database. That mean when I say use demo, that means the current whatever work I am doing, it will be in this database. Is the idea clear what I'm trying to explain or not, guys? Yes, no? Hello. So now
Yeah.
I have multiple databases. What if I want to work on a specific database? Well, all I have to do, I can just say use my name, database name, and now notice what will happen. See, database changed. So before it was with another database. Now I tell them I want you to use demo. And because here I say use demo, see, now the main database I'm working on now, it will be demo here. That means every table I create, everything I do, it will be inside this database. So the command is very simple. It just use the demo like that. Is it quite clear? Yes. No. You are sleeping?
No.
Good. After now, I've learned how to create database, how to drop database, how now I'm saying use this database. And now I need to learn how to do some stuff. I need first to learn how to create a table. So can anyone tell me, why do I need to create a table first? And how can I create a table? So how to create a table? How can I create a table? Create table, just that's it.
Create.
Yeah, so create, does it work? Hopefully. Okay, good. So to create a table, I can just use the command create a table and the name of my table. Then I need to define what type of column I want. What do I need? Do I need ID? Do I need username? Do I need email? Do I
Sam,
need?
we don't see your screen, I think.
Are you sure? You don't see my VS Code?
Yes, but it was on the same. No,
You see my VS Code now?
Yes, yes. Sorry.
Okay. So how to create a table? So to create a table, I can just use create table command, and then I can create my table. But now, before I create a table, what is a table? Can anyone tell me what is a table? What is a table?
Rows and columns.
So yeah, a table simply is a collection of data organized in arrow and columns, simply like that. So now, after I know what is a table, so let's try to create a table. So I can just say uppercase create table, and my VS Code, it will help me. And here, create table, I need to give my table a name. Well, let's go with something simple. For example, I will name it users like that. And here I can say if not exist. If not exist. You may tell me what is if not exist? Can anyone tell me what is if not exist? Why we are using it for?
So we don't have the same table.
Exactly. So create table user if not exist. If not exist, that means if the user table does not exist, I want you to create it like that. And not every time I run my query like that. If you remember yesterday when I tried to insert some record to my table, it was being added multiple times. And the idea here, when I say if not exist, it will prevent creating the table again and again and again. And that's the idea. Okay, that's nice. So I'm just saying create table user if not exist. I'm not expecting you to remember all of these commands. I don't remember some of them. It's okay. But what I'm expecting from you just to understand them. And after that, you can write your own query. You practice a little bit so you know how you can deal with SQL. Because SQL is very important. It's a very good skill to learn. Not just for developer, for engineers, for everything. Okay, so create table users if not exist. And as I told you, SQL is insensitive language. That means if I write it in uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't matter. But always it's a great practice to define the SQL keyword here in uppercase. Like that, it will be easy to read. Okay, now, what do I need to define inside this parentheses? I need to define my different column. For example, let's say I need the ID. Here, I want the ID to be lowercase. Okay, what type of data I want my ID will be? Do I want it to be integer? Do I want it to be? So normally we use either big int. Big int is large integer or int. Okay, fine. Now, do I want it to be null or not? No. So I can, if I want any field to be null, that means if the user try to insert something I did not include this value, I will not allow him to insert this record. But because here ID I want it to be a primary key, so I can, if I say primary key, what was the primary key again? What was the primary key? What was the primary key? Auto increment. What was the primary key?
The first one?
A primary key, it's unique identifier for the table. That means each record, even if I have a million of users, this value, it will be unique for each user. That's what primary key means. So primary key, that means this field here, this ID, it will be unique. It doesn't matter how much data I have, it will be unique for each user. I will never have two users with the same ID. So that's what you call primary key. Auto increment, that's simple. Auto increment means that I will not insert the ID myself as a user. I'm just telling MySQL, okay, I wanted you to auto increment this field. That means he will take the value. I will never insert the ID. MySQL here automatically will increase the value. Now, why should I make it auto increment? I don't insert the ID manually. Any idea? And it's quite simple, actually.
Because you can make a mistake, and if it's auto increment, yeah,
we human can make mistakes. And because I said that the primary keys, that means I should never have two records. When I say records, that means two users, that's it. Or two row if you want to. That means I should not have two records or two rows or two users with the same ID. But we human make mistakes. That's the reason why I say auto increment, increase it automatically. And I want you to take care of this one. Fine. So the first field, as you can see here, I will just define the name, space, what data type I want to use. We will go through the data type. We can use many different data type. Primary keys, that's mean here, this guy will never have the same value for two users. Auto increments, that's mean you will automatically increment it whenever I create a user. That should be good. Now let's add, for example, name. Just name like that. And I will make it lowercase, name. So what do I want the name to be? Well, I can use varchar here. And you may tell me, what is varchar? So varchar is just a string. The maximum value for varchar is 255 characters. So I can just say varchar And varchar is really actually better than using string. Can anyone tell me why? Why it's better to use varchar and not a string? Not null. Can anyone tell me why using varchar is better than using a string? Because in varchar, I can control how many characters I want to. But in a string, I cannot. The string, it takes more space comparing to varchar. Because now, for example, if I want the name maximum to be 100 characters, well, I can enter 100 characters. Unlike that, it will only accept the name with 100 characters. If I wanted to make a 15 character, well, I can control it, yeah. And of course, using varchar in this case here, it will be much more efficient. It will be faster comparing to string. Because the string can take huge size, I may add a lot of character in string. So I don't use string here because normally we don't have very, very long name. I mean, the maximum name I could have, maybe it will be my 100 character or maybe 200 character maximum. And with varchar, I can have up to 255 character. You know now why I use varchar? Yes, no?
Yes.
So varchar is just a string, but I can control how many character here. And of course, using varchar is better. Why? Because like that, I can use a small data when I need it. For the name here, I don't need really a huge string. Maximum character for the name. Normally, the name, it will not be more than 200 character. And as you can see, I can control how many character I have because it's more efficient. Not null. Can anyone tell me what not null mean? What does not null means?
So you have to fill this.
Exactly. Whenever
form.
I try to enter a user, whenever I'm trying to insert a user, if I don't provide the name, my query will not work. Why? Because I say I will not accept any user if I don't have this value, and that's what not null mean. Because sometimes we have some field that are mandatory. I need them. And for example, the name is very important field. That's the reason I'm saying not null. Okay, I will take the email as well, and that should be, for now, it's okay. Of course, you can put as many column as you want to. It's fine. All of those are column. You can put 100, whatever you want to, depending on your table. For the email, also, I can use varchar. Why? Because the email, mostly, it will not be more than 15 character maximum. So I can use varchar here, and maybe I can make it 100 max. And also not null, that means I will not allow this value to be null. And that's simply my table here. So create table, the name of my table. And of course, the name of your table normally should be plural. For example, users, because I'm not storing one user, I'm storing a lot of users. Users, students, products, and stuff like that. If not exists, that's it will prevent duplicating the table in my database, and that's a good thing. After that, here, I will put parentheses, and don't forget semicolon. Everything in SQL need to be ended with a semicolon. Every statement, I mean. Now, inside my table, I can define different columns. So first, I define the ID. I want it to be integer, and I want it to be primary key. Primary key means that this value will never be the same for two users. It will be unique. Auto increments, that means I want MySQL to take care of this value. Auto incremented, it will automatically incremented. I will not touch this value. Of course, the name here, I'm using varchar because varchar is more efficient than string. Why? Because here in varchar, I can control how many character do I want. Not null, that means I will not allow anyone when he try to insert a new user to make the name. And if he did not enter a name, I will not allow him to insert a record. Same for email. And now here, all I have to do now, of course, I can just, as you can see, I can highlight my table here. And now here I can just run, click, and it looks like I have a problem. What's the problem? And if not exist.
Yeah, it's auto increment.
Are you sure? To increment.
AUTO.
You have typo.
Are you sure? Yeah, you're
Line
right.
8.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know. Auto. Oh no, it should be auto now should be good. Okay, let's highlight it and let's run it. And it still have syntax. It checks the manuals that correspond with SQL. Why? Create table if not exist. Let's see now. No, create table user if not exist here. User if not exist. I don't have any problem here actually. Okay, so what I can do here, I can just copy this guy. Let's copy it here. Let's go to my terminal here. And I'm using, which database I am using now? Demo, right? Am I using demo or not? So I can just say use demo to make sure, click. And now database change. Now I can put my guy here and can put it. You have an error in your SQL, check the manual. Indeed, I have a problem here. Primary key auto increment, varchar not null. Can anyone tell me what's the problem? You see this guy here? I shouldn't have it actually. Let's see. And let's try to run it. And voila. No query with error, please. What the hell? There's no error at all. Primary key at lines 3. Let's try it again. Let's see if that works or not. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Just ID int primary key auto increment varchar name varchar 200 at line 1.
Maybe if not exist, it shouldn't be here.
Okay, let me check it. Let me check it. It's fine.
Maybe ask ChatGPT.
No, create table user if not exist. Not exist. My SQL. Create table if not. Yeah, I think it's this one here. It's one stuff. Create data if not exist. Create table if not exist. Maybe this one here. It's before actually. Create table if not exist like that, and this one should be users like that. Okay, let's try. Clicky. And voila, it's working actually. So this one here should be before here. Create table if not exist user, and then now I should have actually my table. So if I go inside here, no, if I go here and I click on refresh, I should have my table. Voila, I have my table, and it show me the ID as a key like that. That means it's a primary key. Also, it show me my name as a varchar, and I can see it's 200. Email varchar, it's 100, which is great. So that's simply how can I create my table. Is the idea clear? Yes, no? Yep.
And now if you would like to add another columns, like for example, I don't know, description or...
We will come to it. We will come to it. Don't worry. That's alter table. Okay, don't worry. Okay, now what we need to do after we create our table, maybe it will be a good idea to insert some value maybe. So let's try to insert some value. So how can I insert? So here I will just say insert. How to insert data into a table. In order to insert a data into a table, I need to use the syntax insert into the table name. Then I need to define the different column I want. So it will be parentheses, name and email, because both of them, I've defined them at not null. And then here I need to say values, and I need to provide the value. So let's try to do that here. So I can just say insert, all cap, into, it was the name of my table, it's users. And here I need to define the different field I need to add. And of course I need name and I need email. Can anyone tell me why we are not adding the ID?
Because it's auto increment.
Yes, because it will automatically increment. Now here I just need to provide values. And values here I need to provide the name. So you see John Doe, for example. John Doe. And here I need to provide the email. And let me provide the email here. I need to get rid of one of those. And let's make the email John. at gmail.com. Okay, let's try to run this query. Do you think this query will work? We don't know. Let's try to run it. Of course it will work, but let's see. Well, as you can see, I don't have any problem here. That means probably it works. Now what I need to do here, I need to see this data to see if it's been inserted or not. So how can I show my data? How to select data, listen, select data from a table. So how can I show all my user here? Any idea? Take a guess.
Show value.
No, select. So in order to do that, I can just say select. If I want all of them, all users, I can use asterisk. Asterisk means everything, every user. And here I need to use from as the name of my table, which is user. Now remember this guy, because I've already inserted, I should comment it. Otherwise, I will have a second record. So let's try to execute this command here and clicky. And as you can see, I have user with ID 1. His name is John Doe and his email is john@gmail.com. And of course, you can insert multiple value here. So let's try to insert something else. I need to uncomment this one. And let me just comment this one. Okay, so Jane Doe, I will as the email as a Jane at gmail.com. And here, what I need to do, I just need to close it. Voila. I will insert only another value. That's it. So all I have to do now, I need to run my query. And it looks like I don't have any problem here. Now I'm going to comment this one. Of course, a comment in SQL is just do 2 minus here, 2 dashes and space. That's it. Now I want to run this query again to see both of my users. Voila. Clicky. And as you can see, I have both my user with ID 1, John Doe, and his email, and user with ID 2, which is Jane Doe, and her email. Okay, what if I want to select a specific user? Let's say I have, yes.
Can I have a question? Because you commented everything, but when you run the code, you select only the parts. So why do you select if everything else it's commented? Is it necessary to comment everything? Or,
Yes. Yes, because what's happening here, depending on the text editor you are using. Some text editor, even if you highlight something, it will only run what's highlight one. Some of them doesn't care. It will just run all your file.
But if you have everything selected, only the line 22, it's everything you have commented, but line 22 no. So you really need to
I don't need to select
this one.
No, because now everything is comment here. You know, in JavaScript or in SQL, the comment, I mean, it will not be executed. They are just comments. So if I click on this one, I will have the same result as you can see.
Okay.
But
if you didn't comment it, so you have to select it.
No, yes. If I don't comment it, even, but again, if I select it, it really depend on the text editor, because some of them, if I just do highlight it and run, it will only, so if I click on this one, it will just run my code here. So it will only run this part of the code. Even if not commented, it will run all of it. But some of them, it will just run all your file. So just to be sure here, that's the reason why I comment everything, so I don't have any duplicate.
Okay.
Okay, Agnieszka?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have my users, that's okay. But what if I want specific user? I want the user with ID 1, for example. What should I do? I want the user as ID 1 or user with ID 2. What should I do?
Select one from users.
Like that?
Maybe.
Or ID equal to 1? Something like that.
Let's try. It's okay. Let's try. Well, it's just giving me 1. It doesn't give me my result really. Maybe we can use the same, select all like that. And maybe we can add something here. So as you can see, if you are using VS Code, as you can see, I can have different stuff here. I can have join. I don't want to join. Maybe where here can help me. Maybe. So let's go to where. If I use where, ID, what's the ID I want? 1. Will that work? I don't know. Let's try. So I'm selecting, I'm saying, okay, I want all the user, but I want here, as this condition here, but I want the user with ID 1. So in reality, what's going on here, it will just return me only single user. So if I run my code like that, and voila, as you can see, it's giving me user with ID 1. And if I try to change it to 2, it will give me a user with ID 2. But what if I don't need the ID, or I don't know the ID? Well, what if I know the email? So I know the email I want to select, it's jane@gmail.com. I don't know the user ID, but I know the email. I want to select this user with this email. What should I do?
Where email?
Where email, exactly. So I can take any value I want to. And now here, if I click on this one, and voila, Jane Doe, and select again the same user here, as you can see, Jane Doe. So it will try to search for all the email, and it will, whenever there is a match, it will return me the user with this email. Is the idea clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Again, I'm not expecting you, even sometimes I make mistakes a lot. I don't deal with SQL a lot. So what I want from you to practice all the time. The idea of SQL, you need to practice, you need to see. It's not something like JavaScript, you need to understand theory or like that. There are just some commands here. Of course, you need to understand what the command do, but it's not like a function, everything. No, here, just insert into. So the command here is specific. So all the time you need to practice in order to you test it, see if it's working or not. If you got a mistake, you need to Google it. And that's happened a lot when we are dealing with another variant. For example, if you learn MySQL and then you work with Postgres and you are writing the same syntax and after that it's not working. So you need to Google all the time and you see, okay, what's the difference? Why is this one is not working with Postgres? And it will tell you, okay, that's for MySQL. In Postgres, you need to change this one to something else. And that's the reason whenever I Google something, I all the time I mention MySQL. So here I mention MySQL because there is differences between the syntax, little bit difference between the syntax of MySQL, Postgres, SQL Server, SQLite. Yes, all of them use the same language, but there is little bit different between them. Okay? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue. I was able to insert two records here or two users here. Now what I want to do, I want to update the username from John Doe, the first user from John Doe, and I will make it Jack Doe, for example. Can I do that? So here, let's just say update, update data in the table. So of course I can do that. What time is it? You want to take a short break or no need? No?
Yes.
Fine. Now let's take a short break, and after that we'll come and we'll continue try to learn as much as we can. Okay, so we've seen how to update our user. If you want to update anything, just update. Now is the name of my table set, and here what different property you want to update. You can update one property if you want to, or if you want to update multiple property, you will add a comma. And don't forget where ID it's equal to 1 because normally we update or delete, or even if we want to select specific user, we need an ID. Okay, that's fine. I just need now to learn how to delete a user. That's all I want to do. In order to delete a record or a user from my table, it's simple. I can just use delete. So let me add here, delete from a table. I can use delete. And now it should be uppercase, all of it. Come on. Delete. Voila. From, what is the name of my table? It's users, right? It's users. Voila. So What do I want to delete? Well, I want to delete from my table, which is delete from this table, whatever is the table name. Now I need to delete a specific user. How can I delete specific user? Well, I can use the clause here where. So where ID is equal to 2. I want to delete the user with ID 2, which it was Katia Do. Okay, here now let's try to run this guy here. And it looks like I don't have any problem. Now what I need to do, I need to run this guy here to show if it's been deleted or not. So let me go to my terminal and let's select all from user. And as you can see now, the user with ID 2 is gone. Now I have only user with ID 1. Is the idea clear? Yep.
Question, Samir. If you deleted the user, the user with ID 1, the user of the second ID will change or remain the same?
Let's try. So if I want to delete also user with ID 1, that's what you are saying. Click. And now here, if I go here.
But no, it's
that's
empty.
what you are asking, right?
But it must be empty.
No, it's okay. It can be empty.
No, but for example,
what you are,
if you have 3 users, you delete the first one. The ID of the others will change or remain the same?
No. It remains the same. No,
okay.
It will never change because I've deleted user with ID. So it doesn't matter which ID. It doesn't matter this one or 2 or 3. The most important thing for me is the ID. It will be unique, Emra.
Voilà.
So it doesn't matter if it starts from 10, 20, 100. It doesn't matter. The most important thing for me that the ID need to be unique.
Okay. That's okay.
Okay. What else now? I need to do now, I need also to learn how to drop a table. How can I drop a table? How can I delete a table?
Drop.
Delete. Are you sure? Delete or drop? Delete table. Let's see if delete will work. So I think it should delete table. Table user, and let's see if that will work or not. Click. If I run it, it does not work as you can see. So I have a syntax because when I'm trying to drop a database or drop a table, I will not use delete, I will use drop. So let me go here and change it to drop. Voila, drop table user, and let's try to do it. And now if I run it here, clicky, and as you can see, I don't have any error. So just you need to remember when you're trying to delete a database or a table, you need to use drop. And now what I can do to make sure that my table is being deleted, what can I do? How can I see my tables? Show tables. And click, and as you can see here, my table are empty because simply I don't have any table here. Yes? Cool? So maybe I can go here and create my table again because I want to show you something. I can uncomment this one. I can copy this one. I go here. I'm going to create this table again. And now here, if I say, come on. What do I have here? Okay, show tables. I know it need to be uppercase, but it's okay. So now I have my table user. Now, what if I want some description? So sometime I will need like kind of description for the table. I want to see if there is any way to see some information about this table. So what I can do here, I have something called describe. Is describe is correct? Describe. Describe should be correct, right?
With the E?
DES. Maybe I can write it in maybe my VS Code. It will be better so I don't make any mistakes. Let's get rid of this one. And let's just say describe table. And here it should be describe, yes, user. So what I can do here, I can just copy this one, describe. I'll go in here and I will delete this one here. So I know I have a table user, but I have no information about this. So if I click on this one, it will show me a nice table. So what does it show me? Well, it shows me the different field or column I have. I have an ID, I have a name, and I have an email. What type of data do I have? This one is integer. This one is varchar 200 character. This is 100 character. Null, can they be null? No, they cannot be null. Key, which one is key, primary key or foreign key? So it's telling me that this guy is primary key. What is the default value? So the default value, it will be null. Of course, it will not accept null, but because I did not define the default value for them. And here, what extra information I have? Well, as you can see, the ID is auto-incremented here. So when you say describe the name of the table, it will give you just an idea what different column you have, what different data type you have. It will just give you a description for your table. Is the idea clear?
Yeah.
Okay, let me drop my table again. I don't need it. Drop table. Drop table. And my table was users, if I'm not mistaken. And that should be good. Voilà. Now, normally, you are with me, right?
Yes.
Guys, you're
Yes.
So normally, if I go now to MySQL and try to enter it, MySQL, I will not go with user Sam. I will go with user root minus P. And here I can just now enter my password root. I think it was this one. Voila. So now, what do I want to do? Well, what I want to do now, I will be able, normally when we work in a team, we should have different users. So I want to see if I have different user here. So I think the command, if I'm not mistaken, it was select users or user from, it was MySQL dot user. Let's see. Okay, fine. So what this command is doing, it will show me the different user I have. So as you can see, I have user root, I have user Sam. But what if I want to create a new user? Well, to create a new user here, I will go to MySQL here. Let me just comment this one. And here just create a new user. So if I want to create a new user, I will just say create user, and I can define the name of the user. So I can just say create user, and here user should be. And the name of the user, I will put it in something like that, like in string, like that. Whatever the name I want to, for example, test, I name my user test. And of course, here I need to define, I can just say at localhost, because it will be, this user, it will be local here. I know what we are doing, we are saving our database locally. We are not saving it on a cloud or anything, we are saving it locally. So we'll just say localhost, and here identified by, and then here I need to enter the password. So here, whatever the password you want to enter here, normally for the new version of MySQL, I think version 9, there is some condition for the password. I think by default, it must be at least 8 characters. It must include one number. It must include one special character and so on. But if you want to create a new user, all you have to do just create user, the name of the user at localhost, identify by password. Then you can write any password you want to, of course. Voila. So that's how we create a user. Is the idea clear? Yes, guys, or no? So to create a user, all you have to do is, as a command, create user test at localhost, identify by password this password. So what I can do here, I can go here and try now. I'm in the root, I'm trying to create a new password. So as you can see now, I'm trying to create a new user. So as you can see, it's giving me okay. So probably I've created a new user. Let me see the new user again. So select user from MySQL.user, and as you can see, I have a new user called test. Of course, now I created my user, but this user does not have, so if I go inside use user, I will not be able to do anything. Can anyone tell me why? Why I was not able to do anything with this new user I created? Take a guess. I've created a new user, but in this new user, he cannot currently access database. He cannot update. He cannot delete. Why?
He's not logged in.
No, but did I give him this? I just here I created a user. Did I allow him to update or delete or do something? No. So after you create user, you need to grant privilege. So you need to tell, okay, I will allow this user to do this stuff, to do everything. Now here, if you want to grant this user everything, you can use this command here, which is grant all privilege on. Actually, the new command, if I'm not mistaken, is grant all on, but I will test it. Grant all on. Does that mean everything? So I will allow this user to access all the database, the database. You can do all the operation. And here too, what's the name of the user? It was test at localhost. And here I can just say with grant option. Now, if I run this command, now the new user I created, he will be able to, I'm trying to grant him everything. So he will be able to create, delete database, access any table, do everything he wants. So let me run this command. So I'm going to copy it and I go here with a new user. I'm going to just paste it here, click. And as you can see, query, okay, that means this user now, he will be able to do everything. And after I did this one here, I need to flash privilege actually. And you may tell me what is flash privilege. So let's see flash privilege. So what is flash privilege? Any idea what is flash privilege? Flash privilege. So flash privilege is simply I'm trying now. I grant this user everything, but it's still I did not apply it. When I say flash privilege, that's mean I'm kind of implementing. I give them all the right, but they are still not implemented. So when I say flash privilege, that's mean I am saying, okay, I want you to excuse the granted all now. You look like I have syntax error. You have an error in SQL syntax, check the manual. Okay, flash privilege at line 1. Okay, let me check it.
Flush or flush?
It's flash, I think. Flash all privilege for a new user MySQL. Let's see here. Grant all privileges, that's what I did. Flash privilege, because it's privileges, it's not privilege actually, it's S. So it's plural, if I am not mistaken. It is plural.
It's flush some with you.
You're right. It's syntax error. So it's flush privilege like that. My mistake. So it's flush privilege. Okay, so what flash privilege is doing here, what it's going to do here now, it's going to implement everything or all the privilege I gave to the new user. If I click on it, I need to add semicolon, and as you can see, it's okay. Now, this new user guy here, he will be able to do everything. And that's how we create a new user, in case you want to create a new user. In creating a new user, we don't do it every day. And because now when we create our database, we have a new colleague, we'll just create a new user and we'll do it one time. We don't do it that much often. But it's a good idea to know how to create a new user and give him certain privilege if we want to. Okay? Yes, no. No, maybe. There are just some command, guys. Let's try to drop user. I'm not sure if that will work, this command. So drop user test at local host. So let's try to drop this one. Wow, it worked. That's great. Now let me see all the other users. And that's what annoying little bit in the terminal. You can adjust. Okay. Oh, well, what I did here, I'm just a drop user and the name of my user at localhost. Now, currently, I don't have this user. I just deleted it. A drop user. All. So you see now how to create a new user locally, how to grant all the privilege, everything. That means it will be like a super user. He can delete database, he can create table, he can delete table, he can manipulate any table. And you need to grant him, and you need to apply these changes. So you say flash, FLU, flash privileges, and that will be implemented. And at the end, whenever you want to drop specific user, all you have to do just drop user, the name of the user. Remember, this one must be in a string here. So at the name of the user, and then at localhost also need to be inside a string. That's how the command work. Cool? Not cool. Maybe?
Ça va.
Ça va. Good. And now we will go to the data type now. Actually, if you want to show the granted, also you can, so you can see all the privilege, but that's fine for now. Let's just go to data type here, data types in MySQL. Okay, so the first data type we're going to study here, we have a lot of data type. So let's have a look at, we have here date time. I don't want to go through all of those. I want to go first to varchar. Let's start with varchar. What is varchar? What do you think a varchar is?
It's a string.
Yes,
but
so
with
it's
maximum 255 characters.
Yes, so varchar, it's actually very useful in database. We use it because it's more efficient. And like that, I can control how many characters the user try to enter. Like that, it will take less space, so I don't have to make it a string, which string can be very, very long. But in this case, I can control that I want a smaller database. So for example, we use varchar for names, for email, for whatever you want to. So the syntax is quite simple here, just varchar. And after that, you can define the number of the character you want. The maximum character, if you don't define it, it will give you the maximum. So if I just use varchar like that, it will give you the maximum, which is 255. But normally when you use varchar, of course, we use it to define a certain number of character. Is it okay? Yep.
Yes.
Okay, the second one, of course, it will be integer. Let me comment this one. So we have int, and as you know, you already know what is integer. So the integer here simply, it's integer number. We use it most of the time for ID. Either we use int or big int. The difference is big int, it can include very huge number. We use it specifically for huge database because, big int, it has more size comparing to int. And simply that's it. Most of the time when we defined our primary key, it will be as an integer and we make it auto increment. Auto increment, that means automatically it will be increased. There is a small note here, which is sometimes we use unsigned integer. Unsigned integer. Can anyone tell me what's the difference between unsigned integer and signed integer? So sometimes we say unsigned integer. What do you think the difference is? What's the difference between signed integer and unsigned integer? It's quite simple, actually. It's related to plus and minus, by the way. Negative or positive number. What's the difference between integer and unsigned integer?
So unsigned, it's a negative number.
Yeah. So normally, if I say integer, the integer takes some number from minus huge number. I don't know what it is, but it's around 2 billion, something like that. 2 plus this number. So the integer alone, it will take a negative value from specific number. It's around, I think, 2 billion, something like that. So this number is not correct. The maximum number, I think, it is minus 2 billion, something like that. So that's the correct number, actually. It's 2 billion something, 2 positive 2 million something. But when I'm dealing with database, I don't really need the negative part. I mean, I don't want my ID to be negative. And we don't use negative ID for our integer here, at least in our database. So that means all this size of data here is being lost because you are not using them. Now there is a way to tell that, okay, I can, and I don't want the negative part, I want all of them positive. In this case, the size of the integer, it will increase. Here it was 2 billion, now it will be 4 billion. Why? Because all the negative value, also it will be added to positive. So I will only have positive value. And of course, if I say unsigned, like that, voila. So unsigned, it will be from 0 to 4 billion, blah, blah, blah. That's the difference between that. Yes, no.
So why do you usually use integer? Because unsigned is better.
No, not really, because normally in any application, the integer is normally, sometimes it will be positive, sometimes it will be negative. A negative number, it is okay, it's still integer.
Yeah, but if we use it with ID, so it's always...
Yeah, so if we use with ID, I told you we have up to 2 billion. Do you know what 2 billion? It's really a huge number. But if you use unsigned, it will start, for example, from 0. So it will only give you a positive number. Because it's only positive numbers, this negative number, it will not be included. So it's kind of being added to the positive part. And we have up to 4 billion, which is even bigger. Yep. Okay. What other data type I have? So I have string, by the way. So let me go to here and I say string. So the string here, normally it will be a normal string, but its size, it will be a little bit huge. Of course, the varchar, as I told you, 255 characters, but the string, its size, it will be very huge, depending how many characters it has. So the size of the string is really not defined. We can define the size of character, one character. So one character here, I think it's around it's 1 byte. One character is 1 byte. And the length of the string, how much memory it will take, the size here, it depends how many characters I have. So the string could be very long. It can store a lot, very long data. Okay. You can use string. We use sometimes string with, if I do not really know how many specific characters, for example, not related to name. If I want to save a URL, maybe it would be a good idea to save it in string because some URL are very, very long. So that's the idea. Yeah. So we can use string as well. What else do we have? We have something called double. Have you heard with something called double or decimal? Let's use decimal. Decimal, it will be the largest. So we have float, we have double, we have decimal. Can anyone tell me what's the difference between float, double, and decimal? What's the difference between float, double, and decimal? So I have float, I have double, and double, and I have decimal here. It's actually not correct here. Here, so normally the float, it will be 1, 1. Yes, but I'm defining this one as 2. Maybe it's not a good idea. I will just define it like that. Let me not define this one. Let me not define this one. Just to show you why it was the difference between these guys here. So I say 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And for double, normally it take up to 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And for decimal, I think it take up to 24 and 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. Oh, no, actually it's 4. But anyway, so the difference between float and double and decimal, we use this value to store at this. So if we don't have an integer in this case, we have what we call floating number, and floating numbers, that means we have a comma. For example, if I have $20 and 20 euro, comma, 35 cents and something like that. So for these, for non-integer value, we can use either float or double or decimal. What's the difference between those three? Well, simply the double is double size of the float. So the float here can take up to 4 bytes. The double take up to 8. So it's double size. What's that supposed to mean? That means the precision after the comma for the float is around 7 character. For the double, it's around 15 character. And for decimal, it's up to 24 character. Do you get the idea here? So this guy is more precise. When we are dealing with currency or money all the time, it's a great idea to use decimal. Here, normally in some programming language, for example, if I go with C or I go with Java, the default value for floating number, it will be double. So double here, it's in the middle. It gives you accurate number up to 15 character after the comma. Yes, no? Do you know the difference now between them?
Yes,
Hello?
and the 5 inside the parentheses, it's what?
So the 5, that means it will be my number here. So 5, I will have 5 character and comma 2 here. I can decide like that, which will mean simply that after the comma, that's what's important for me. So I will give the value, whatever the value here is. And here, what's important is this guy here. I will have 2 number after the decimal, this one. Yep. Nope.
Okay, I understand 2, but what is 5?
But I'm telling you, the 5 is simply, it's 2 is the number of the digit after that, but the 5, I think it's the number of, it's a precision. Sorry, it's a precision. 5, it's precision. So this 5 here is precision, and 2, so how more precise the number it will give you, it will be precise up to 5. So if I do this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this 5 is the precision, and here how many character do I need after the decimal, which will be 2. So 5 is the precision. It just means that I will have 5 in total. Yes, Agnieszka?
So if we'll have like 9,99, so it will be 009,99.
Yeah, so let's try to do it here. Normally we take 2. So if I have a precision like that, so I will have, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like that. So whatever the number is, of course, if I don't have this number, it will replace it with 0. I mean, if I don't have this value. So the precision here, if I count totally how many I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In total, the precision, it will be 9 character. All of them, it will be 9 character. But the character I have after the decimal, it will be 2. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, fine. And that's simply the decimal. What other data type do we have? Not sure. Yeah, I told you the float, it will take 4 bytes. You don't have to worry about bytes and stuff like that, but it just take 4, double take 8, and decimal, I think it take up to, not quite sure, I think it's 12, but anyway. Okay, what else do we have? Yeah, I think that's the most common data type we have in SQL. If we encounter something new, we'll let you know as well.
And do we have number, just number, like in JavaScript? Or no, we have integers?
No, you have integer and you have decimal here. You don't have number here. Because in SQL, there is distinction between the number when the number is integer and when the number is a floating point number. So there is difference between the two. In JavaScript, we don't have difference between the two, so we just call them numbers. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we have something called, okay, let's see what the hell is that, distinct. Of course, we can have date as well. So in MySQL also we can have date, we can store in a date, but the date we will check it later. Now what I want to do here is there is something called distinct. I need to know what is distinct. Distinct. Okay. So what is this distinct here? So distinct, it just means it will be unique. So if I add this guy here, this clause, if I create a table, and now here, if I say select distinct email, for example, from user, what we're going to do here, it will just provide me, it will not allow, how can I say? Let's say I have 10 users with the same name. So what is return me? It will return me the user which is they have no duplicate. These things just mean it must be unique. Is it the idea a little bit clear or not?
Not so
No?
much. No.
No.
Okay, let's go here. So I need now to create my table here. Fine, let's just select distinct email, but email I will have unique name, let's see. Name like that. And now I need to create my table. I'm not sure if I have my table or not here. Oh, tables. No database selected. Use demo. Show table. I have no table, so let me create my table again. Voila. Click on this one. And now I have my table at least, which is good. I need to insert some record here, so let me copy this guy here. And I'm going to down. Let me comment this one for now. I'm just going to import some record inside, so I can say insert username. The name I will make it John Doe. I will make it again John Doe. So I will try to enter John Doe 2 times. So I have 2 users with the same name, which is John Doe. But the email, let's make it different. John Doe 1, John Doe 2. Okay, now let's try to insert another user and name it Jane. Jane Doe, like that, and that should be okay. Let's insert all these 3 records. Click. That's fine. Cool. So what do I want to do now? I will try to implement this one distinct here. So let me go back to my database here, and I just select all just to see them. Select all from the table name. It was users, if I'm not users like that. So now I have John Doe, same name as you can see. John Doe, user 1 and 2, they have the same name. They have different email, and user 3, we have Jane Doe with different email. Now, what if I use this one here, this syntax here, and I say, select distinct name from user. So let's try to run this our query and see what will happen. Click on that, click. So what's going on here? Now the name Jane, how many is being duplicated? How many times the name Jane is being duplicated?
0.
The name one. I have 1 Jane, right?
Yeah.
So I have 1 Jane here. How many times the name John is being duplicated?
1 time.
So I have 2 John, right?
Yes.
So, but it show me John only 1 time. So it will only show me the data which are not repeated. They are unique. They are different. So if I have some data which is repeated, so if I have 13 user with the name John, it will only show me 1 time, one of them. That's what you call distinct.
Okay.
So distinct, that means that one, it will be different. If they are similar, because of course I'm trying to select them here by name. This name and this name is the same here. So it will not gonna repeat them again and again. No, it will show it only 1 time. And that's what we call distinct. Here, because Jane is not repeated, it's just 1 Jane, it's show me here. Now, what if I try to add more Jane? So let me try to add more Janes here. So I'm going to here and I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to paste it here and I will insert another 3 Jane. So Jane, and here's the email. Let me say Jane 1. And in here, let me also use Jane 2 and also add Jane 3, for example. So now I will have a new 3 record here. Let me comment this guy. Everything is commented. It should be fine. Let me run my query. Clicky. Oh, that's fine. Now let's try to select all. So I have select all from user. As you can see here, John Doe is being. I have 2 John Doe and I have 4 Jane Doe. Now, if I run my select this thing that's mean only the one is not. So if something is repeated, it will show you one time. And that's the idea. Now I will, instead of you seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I will only see 2 user only. And the reason for that, because it will only show me not repetitive user, as you can see. So because John is repeated, I have 1, 2 John, it will only show me one of them. And because Jane is repeated 4 times, it will not show me 4 times, it will only show me 1 time. So that's the clause here, what we call this thing. Yes? Clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Good. What else do we need? Okay, let's go to this one. Maybe this one will be interesting, actually. Let me comment this one. Let me do this one here, and I can just say select all from user, but I want to add something here. I can just say where name is John Doe. Let's say I don't remember the name exactly. Okay, I'm not sure what is the name. I remember the first name, maybe it was Jane, but I don't remember the last name. So for example, I can create a query which will return me everything start with, for example, Jane. Is it possible? So let's try to do it. So what I can do here, I can just say select all from user where name is. Instead of that, I can just say where name. I can use like that. Come on, like. And instead of this one, I know it starts with Jane. And what I can do here, I can just add a %. So a % means I'm remembering what is important for me is that the name starts with GAN, but what is in the, I don't care. What's important for me is that the name I'm trying to locate or try to find, it starts with GAN. And maybe this one should be a good idea to make it lowercase, actually, because it is lowercase, Jane. So let's try to run our query and see what we'll find here. So let's copy this one. Let's go in here. Let's just paste it here and let's see. So as you can see, what did do here? It will, I'm telling in my SQL, I want you to grab the user where the name is similar to Jane. The name start with GAN, that's what I care about. And what is end of, I don't care. Example, to make it even clear, I can add another Jane, but with a different last name. So let me add another Jane here. And I will name it Jane Jack, for example. Not Jane Doe. Let me copy this guy, go to my SQL query and insert it. And now I have a new record. Let me run my query here. So select all from user where name is like Jane. Now, even though it will show me all of that, also it will show me Jane, John. Why? Because what's important for me is the name start with GAN. And if I do that, as you can see, it will show me Jane Doe, Jane Doe, Jane Doe, and here John Jack, as you can see. So we use like when we are not sure. We use it mostly with string when we are not sure what the string end with, or we're not sure if what the string start with. What do I mean by that? Well, I can do that as well. I can say, okay, I don't know what was the name, but I remember the last name was Doe, for example. So what I can do here, I can start with percent here, and here, let's say I'm interested in a name where, let's say, I know that there is two characters, N and E, in between here. In the middle, I know the name is two characters, N and E, but I don't know what it is. So I don't know what's the last name, and I am not quite sure about the first character. I don't know if it starts with J or another J, like grade. So I'm not sure. So what I can do? Well, what I can do here, I can just put percent. That means I don't really know. I don't care about what to start. But what I am interested here, the name should include, for example, let's say the letter N. So let's just type in here, and now it will end up with percent. So that's what's going to do here, this query. It will try to locate all the name where N doesn't, of course, it must not start, because I'm saying I don't know, I don't care what it starts with, I don't care what it ends with. What's important for me is that the name includes the letter N. And if I go here and try to run my query, let's see what it will give me. So as you can see, because I have John, I have in here, and I have in here, I have in here, I have in here, I have in here, the letter N, it doesn't matter. It will show me all the user, which will start with whatever, and the end with whatever. What's important for me is that will only include in the mid here, in between the first and last character, including the letter N. Is the idea clear, guys, or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe can you insert a name that starts on with N? So like Nick, for example, Nick Doe.
Yes, no,
and
why
we-
not? So let's just say in Nick like that, and here too. Well, and I don't care a lot about the email. I will not make the email unique, because my objective here is not really to build a code, it's just to play a little bit with the database. Click. Now here, let's see all of them. Select all from where, voila. So as you can see, Nick guy here is not appeared. Why? Because it's not starting with N. But again, I want to see all of them. I want to make sure that these guys been added. So select all from, and my table was users. Click. And that's the guy is Nick here, as you can see. So let's run this one again. So select all from user, where N is like, that means it start with something. Actually, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? The last one I use this one. So let me use this one as well. Let me comment this one. It will not select Nick simply because the Nick here guy, what is it? Nick, though, actually it shouldn't, because, yeah. So, Nick, though, nope, it shouldn't be correct actually. Because what percent here is say, I don't care about what start, I don't care about what it end. The most important thing that is include in. Strangely. Like here, or let me just Google it. Like MySQL. So we have percent and wildcard, yes. 8%. Find any values that start with A, yes. Find any values that end with A, yes. Find any values that have or in any position. Yeah. Actually, so here it's just saying here it doesn't care between any position. It just must include OR. So if I just put it at the end, that means it must end with, is the beginning, it must begin with. And if I have percent, it just means it's fine that any values that have or in any position. It doesn't matter in the beginning or the end. It doesn't matter really. It does make sense actually. Yes, Agnieszka, you got it? So what's
Samir,
it saying? Yes.
I have a question. The like command, it's never case sensitive.
all SQL commands are case non-sensitive. So I can just do that like that, like here where I can do that the
No,
same.
I'm not talking about that. Like when you first
You mean
read,
the character here?
yes, the
It
first time.
should be case insensitive. So let's try to do this one as well. Let's try to test it.
Because
Let's try to test it. It should be case insensitive. So let's see here.
no, is it? Is it? It
Yeah,
is.
so yes, it is, as you can see. So it show me everything here. It
Okay.
doesn't care about ends. It must include ends. That's it. And
Okay.
a percent, I was wrong actually. A percent means that I want in any position. It doesn't matter. But if you start here for this guy here, which was it? If I say this way, that means it must start with N. And if I try to do this one now, it should show me only Nick Doe here, if I am not mistaken. And only indeed it show me Nick Doe, as you can see, because it start with N. And if I wanted to start with E, so sorry, it end with E. So I don't care what to start with, but I wanted to end with E like that. Or lowercase, it doesn't matter really. And now it should show me all those guys here, because all of them are ending with E. And it show me
Jack, without Jack, Jane Jack.
yes, without Jack, because the Jack here it's not ending with E. So here, when I say %E, that means it must end with E. But when I say here %, it doesn't really matter. The most important thing it includes this character, and we've seen this one. What do we have a special character? Maybe O, no, C maybe. Let's try to see C like that. So here we are just saying it need to include C. It doesn't care. So if I have C, yeah, it includes Jack, because this guy is includes C, and this one includes C. So I have Jane, Jack, and Ike so yeah, it's really helpful, I think, for string when we try to query a string and we don't really remember. We don't care about what the string include. We just care about what is start or what is end, or if it include a special value here. Of course, you can include not just one character, you can include multiple characters. For example, I can just say I don't care about anything. I just wanted to include here like that, a in lowercase g like that. And if I try to do so, I click on this one. So it will only show me this one here. So I really don't care about anything. I just care that it's include A and E in any position. And as you can see, it's included here, it's included here, 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 and here. It does not show me the other one. Cool?
Yeah, that's also good if you would like to select all the names with that starts with A or B or something.
Yes,
yeah.
Indeed.
Okay, this is interesting, this one.
Actually, we have something else here. We have something called wildcard. Find any values that have the value are in the second position. Okay, so you can not just use %, also you can use underscore. And underscore, that means I don't really care. All I want to do here. And now the difference between % here, it's I don't care how many character is there. But underscore here, that means it's one letter. So that means the second here, this underscore, that means is one character. That means the second character here, it must be R. Actually, let me show you. It will be even better. Here, let me just use underscore. And here, I want the second letter to be, let's choose something O, for example. So the first, that's underscore meaning first character. So it take a place of one character only. %, it take multiple character. I don't care. So this one, it could be 1, 2, 3 character. It doesn't matter. But underscore, it just means one character. So if I try to do that, that means the second character, I want it to be O. And in my example, as you can see, the first character here, which is underscore, I don't care about. I want the second character to be O. And in this example, it should show me all the jaune stuff here. So let's try to do it here. So as you can see, the first character here, I don't care. The most important for me is that the second character include O, and that's happening with jaune. Let's try with unique value. What unique value do I have? Select all from users. Let's try with this guy next. As you can see, the second character. I will choose a third character. So the third character is C. It must be unique. Here, I don't have any other character start with C. So what we can do here, we can just say, I want the third character to be unique. So I can say underscore underscore 2 times. And then here, what was it? The unique one, it was C, if I'm not mistaken. So if I type it this way, let's see. Put this guy like that, and as you can see, I only have Nick, N-I-C-K. Why? Because as you can see, the third character, it must be C, as you can see. Is it okay, guys? So this underscore, it takes the place of one character only, but percent, I don't care. I mean, here, what I care here, so that's the first character, I don't care about. The second character, I don't care about. The third character, I want it to be C. And the rest of the character, I don't care. Percent represent more than one character, but underscore, the wild card here, represent only one character. Yes, no?
Yes, and
You
I
got
also
my-
have one question, because I think it's better to create the table, the database, that you have a first name and last name. So you can select by the first name and by the last name. But if the database is created like that, so you have only the name, so Nick Doe in in one field. So how, maybe is it possible to do the with the last name, but the last name is inside the same row? So if
Okay.
we put a percentage space and then D, so it will show the dough. I don't know if you know what I mean.
To target
know.
only the second word.
Yeah.
But
The
in
last
real
name.
in real database, we will never do it this way, because the first name need to be separated from the last name.
But I think
get me?
it exists also like that.
No.
Very...
The
No?
majority of database, unless it's an old crappy database, the majority of them separates the first name from the last name. You will never have something like that. All the time you will have the first name and then you have a column for the last name. All the time. Okay?
Yeah.
I can target, by the way, this one here, but I need to know how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 space. I don't think it will work like this, so I need to give it a character. 5, 6, and I want the 7. So what I can do here, I can just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I want the last one here to be. Why was the fact? Oh, for example. So here it will only show me the user when the 7 character is O. And remember, even if it's space, underscore, it just means character. The space is considered character. So if I go now here and I try to do that, and here it show me nothing actually. That's mean either I'm making a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, it's the 7 one. Let me see again.
So it should be 6 underscore.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are right, actually. Let's see. Voila, as you can see. So it will show the 7 character here. And even the empty string is empty string. We don't leave it empty string because underscore here represent one character. And the space also consider one character. So you can just say underscore like that if you want to. Yeah, or maybe you can even make it easier, actually. What you can say here, I want the guy here to end with do like that. Instead of doing that, I can make it in an easier way. I say, I don't care what it start with. I do not care what it start with, but I wanted to end with this guy here, which is OE like that. Okay, so I wanted to end with OE like that, and it will do the same job. So you don't have to have one character. You can have multiple characters as the end. It's fine. And voila, as you can see, same is the same. Or maybe I can just say I wanted to end with the last name do like that. And I can do that as well. So it's end with do like that. And if I click on that, and voila, it still give me the same. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we need to do? Okay, we've seen like. We've seen percent, we've seen underscore. We say that the underscore represent only one match with just one character. The percent can match multiple character. And So, we're trying to search and see if we have something interesting. Order by, actually, it's quite interesting. So what the hell is order by? Order. Can anyone from the name know what is order by? What do you know? What do you think the order by is?
A way to display the data?
No, it displays the data ascending or descending. So what I can do here, I can just say select all from user order by name, descending. So you can do it descending, and because the name is a stringy, varchar is stringy, now it will represent the last cat. For example, I have A, B, C, D, E, and we end with Z. So the name start with Z, they will appear first, and so on. So let's try to run this one here. DESC is mean descending. So I'm just saying select all from user order by, that just means sort them by the name descendingly. So let's try to see what that will give me. So as you can see, we have N. N is come after J, right? So normally I have N, if A, B, C, D, and then I have J, and after that I have N. So let me insert a new record just to show you, which start with Z. And I will name it Z here. And I'm gonna copy this guy here. Okay. So as you can see, when I say select all from user, order by name descendingly, that means the one start with Z, it will appear first, and then the name start with the character appear like N, then I have J, and if I have S name start with A, it will appear here. So maybe it will be a good idea also to add another name which start with A, so we can see it. Voila. Okay. As you can see, so the name start with Z, as you can see, then all the character down. That's what we call descendingly, and I can do it ascendingly as well. So instead of this one, ascending, I think it's ASK. Let's see. And ascending here, as you can see, it will be the opposite of descending. And now the name start with A, as you can see, then J, then N, then Z at the last. Yep. Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I can also, I can order it by ID if I want to. Let's say I have different ID, and I know my ID here, I have all the ID, but let's say I am dropping, yeah, let's say delete. I'm gonna delete one user. Delete from users where ID it's equal to, let's delete the ID 6, for example, and voila. And now what I can do here, I can now write my query, and I can say, not this one. I can just say select from, select all from users order by, and here I can just say ID, and here either I can say descending or ascending. So it's really depend what I want. Ascending, that means, yeah, it will start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and descending is the opposite. And here, let me choose ascending, and I can add a limit. So for example, if I want only 3 users, I can add a limit, and I say 3, for example, like that. Again, select all from user order by ID ascendingly. That means I will have one user with ID 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on up. And I want to see only 3 users. So the limit here, I can choose how many users I want to see. So let's try to run this query and see what do we have. Click, and as you can see here, show me user with ID 1, 2, and 3 only because the limit is 3. Let me change the limit and make it 10. I think I have 10 users, but anyway. So as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where is 6? 6 does not exist, so it will go to 7, it will go to 8, it will go to 9, it will go to 10. Yes? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Good. Now what we can do, we can actually do the opposite here. So we can say select all from user order by ID descendingly. That means here we can start with ID 10, ID 9, and then 8. And I can define the limit. I want to see 10 users or I want to see 3 users. It really depends what I want. Should be okay. So we've seen here order by, we've seen like, we've seen ascending, descending, we've seen limit. And maybe it's a good idea now to see something else. Should be quite interesting. So what if I know the user ID, but how can I say? I know the user ID is between 5 and 7 or 10 maybe, but I don't remember really what's the user ID. So, but I know it's like between a specific range. Can I do something here?
We can limit it.
So let's try to do that. So I can just say select here. We have something called between. Between, and actually it must be all cap. Uppercase, yes. So what I can do here, I can just say select all from user, from should be up, users like that, where I want, I don't know the ID, but what I can do here, I can just say where ID is between 2 and 4. Or I can do that something else. So the ID, it will be between 2 and 4. Or I can say where ID, instead of using between these ones this way, I can do it. Actually, let me show you these ones, and I'll do the second. I want it to be between 2 and 7. Let's copy this one. Go in here. Click here, and as you can see, it will show me the ID between 2 and 7, as you can see. So you can use here between. We can use it in another way here. We don't really need between. We can use and. You know what is and, right? You know what is and? In JavaScript, you know what is and, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thanks God. Where what we can do here, we can just say ID is greater or equal than 2 and ID is less than or equal to 8, for example. Of course, the ID is not correct. It must be lowercase. Voila. So now what is going to do here? We will try to select all the user with the ID. It will be greater, including, of course, 2, greater than 2, including 2, and less and including 8. So if I run my query this way, voila. And as you can see, it will show me a different user where the ID is 2, because I'm saying here equal to 8. Voila. So far now you know what is and. You can use and condition to make sure that both conditions are true. You can use or, by the way, as well. So I want the ID to be equal to 2, and ID is equal to 8, if I'm not mistaken. And here let's just say or. Let's see if that will work. So what I'm saying here, I want to select all the user where ID is 2 or the ID is 8. And here it will select me both user with ID 2 and with ID 8 because I am using or. That's it. So far we've seen between, we've seen and, we've seen or, And that should be okay.
But or it shouldn't be this one or this one, because if it's and, so it should show us the two IDs. But
So
if it's or,
So
yeah.
what OR is doing, where the ID is 2 or A8. So it's normally is going to show you both of them. Because what's saying here, the ID is 2 or the ID is 8. I already have a user with ID 2. And I have an ID with ID 8. So it will show me both of them.
But if you write and, so it will be the
It will
same.
not work with I because as ID cannot be 2 and 8. It does not make sense, right? Let's try.
Yeah. Okay.
See, it's empty.
Mhm.
Why? Because the ID cannot be 2 and 8. It's
Mhm.
not possible because either the ID it will be 2 or 8. We told you. So we cannot, that doesn't make sense. The user cannot have two duplicate ID. But when I say ID is 2 or, it will grab me both user with ID 2 or with ID 4. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, what else do we have? Okay, we can use also not, for example, it's the same idea, but here not, it's not between 2 and 4. Let's just ignore that or this one here. What else we can do? What else we can do? We've seen like already, which is good. We've seen where, we've seen and, we've seen between. Okay. Okay. Now, if I say select all from user, let's just try to grab this one here. Let's go here. If I type select all from user like that, it will show me all the different fields. So it will show me the ID, it will show me the name, it will show me the email. But what if I don't want to see the email? What if I just want to see the name, the field name? What should I do? Can I only show the name field? Are you with me?
Yes,
Yes.
of course you
Maybe
can.
select.
Yeah, we are here.
Okay, maybe I can just say select. Come on, select is not correct. Select. And here I want to see the name. I can just say name instead of asterisk from, what's the table name? It's users. Click and it show me only the name. So what you can do here, when I say asterisk, it means I want you to show me all the different column. So all the column I want you to show me here. Asterisk mean all the column, but if you want specific column to see, you can define their name here. Let's say, for example, I want to see the ID and the email. So what I can do here, I can just say select ID, comma. It's ID lowercase, ID, comma, email. I don't care about the name. From user. And you, of course, you can make it as complex as you want to, where IDs, something like that, it's fine, but I want to see all the users. You may tell me why this is important, because sometimes our table is very huge and we are not interested in a lot of column here. We're interested in some of them. And this one, it would be a good idea just to see a specific column. So if I do so now, as you can see, I can see just the ID and I can just see the email here. So yeah, I can control that if I want to. Yep. Okay, no, no, no. Mm. 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 We've seen limit, we've seen order by. Anything new? Let's see, let's see, let's see. I'm just trying to see if there is anything new I forgot here. I've seen this one. Create a database, we've seen that. Using variable. It's too early to use variable.
Maybe how we can merge two tables.
Not now, it's too early. Merging
Oh,
table
okay.
should be after 3-4 days, Agnieszka.
Okay.
I'm trying to give you the simplest one so you can get used to it. And after that, I will teach you how to modify the table, what we call alter table, add more column if you want to. And then merging here, it's not, how can I say it? It's not for the first day.
Okay. And for example, if we remove one row and we would like to undo it, so is it easy
That
or?
rule back also is not for the first day.
Okay.
We'll study everything, don't worry. But the idea here, there's something I'm trying to pick the easiest stuff for the first day. And the second day, we'll go a little bit in deep and so on and so on and so on. We still have 2 weeks to study database, so we have a lot of time. And of course, we need to practice a lot. I insert into, we've seen that, primary key, we've seen that. Unique, yeah, this is interesting. I did not show you this one. Let's say I'm trying to create a table. That's my table. I'm gonna comment this guy. And that's my table. I'm gonna drop my table user, of course. Everything is commented except use demo. That's fine. Let's go here. So what was the command to delete table? What was the command to delete a table?
Drop.
Drop table. And what's the name of the table was? Users. And as you can see now here, if I say show tables, I shouldn't have any tables anymore, which is good. If I go,
Samir,
yes.
what if, let's say, we write drop table and accidentally delete everything? Is everything gone forever?
No, again, just like Agnieszka say, you can roll back if you want to.
Okay, yes.
You can go back, you can roll back, but we will study it later, not now. Okay, now as you can see, I have a create table if not exist user, ID is name primary. Now, what if I want to make sure that the email is unique? Because if you remember when we study or when we do our project, I told you I'm not depending on the ID, I'm depending on the email because I want the email to be unique. Is there any way to tell SQL that I want this value to be unique?
Maybe primary key?
You can try unique like that. So what's unique here is going to do, it's going to make sure that you'll never have duplicate email. Okay? Unique is just means simply, it will not allow you to have duplicate email. So let me just cut this one and can put this one here. It shouldn't affect, but let's see. Hopefully it will work. So let me copy this one and let me go to my stuff here and let me try to paste it. Enter. Well, lucky for me, it works. So what I can do now, I can insert a few stuff. Notice I will try to insert 2 users with the same email. And after that, we'll see what will happen. So I'm going to copy this guy. After I add unique, of course. I'm going to do this one. Copy here, insert into username, email value, John Doe or Jane. I will enter Jane like that. And I will duplicate this guy here, Jane. And I will keep the same email, but the name here, I will name it Jack Doe, for example. Come on, what happened? Yeah. I'll name it Jack Doe. Notice the both email are the same. So notice, let's see what will happen. Let's go here. Let's try to insert this one. Click. And now he's been okay. So if I select all from users like that, I should have Jane Doe and I should have the email. Let me try to duplicate this guy. And voila. If I try to do that, clicky, and as you can see here, it will give me an error, duplicate enterjane@gmail.com for key user.email. So simply it's telling me you are not allowed simply to enter this email because this email is unique. And that's really good stuff in SQL. Like that, you can make sure that the user will never have a duplicate email. Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. And what else? Hmm. Inside the auto comment not null, that should be fine. We've seen this one also should be fine. Multi-table not now. Join not now. Foreign key. Actually, maybe I can give you the concept of foreign key. But to do that, I need to create a new table. Well, I'm just going to explain the theory. It's almost 11 and a half. I'm just going to explain the theory only. And tomorrow we will create a second table and we will create, we know what's the primary key. So a primary key, whenever I create any table, as you can see. So let me go to my database here. As you can see, I have something as a key here. It's a primary key. It's unique. So for each table, we need to have a primary key all the time. For each table, we need to have a primary key. But let's say I have, let's click on that. Let's click on that. And let's say I have my first table, which you've seen, which was users. And user here, I have ID, which is the primary key. So I have ID 1, ID 2, ID 3. I have name, I have email, stuff like that. Name and email. And here, let's say that's only the table of user. And then after that, I have, let's say, either product or holistic order. It's the simplest one here. Let's say I'm ordering different food like that. Now, when we create a table, you need to have a specific schema. So you need to design your schema. The idea is for a user table, it should have one table, and for the order I have should have another table. They should be separated because they can have multiple tables. But okay, now let's say I have my order table, and my order table also it will have a primary key, and this primary key it will be unique. It will has ID 1, 2, 3. So all the time, each table will have a primary key. All the time, we need to have a unique field which called the primary key. But now I need somehow to make a connection between my user and my order, because simply if I don't have a connection, I will not know which order belong to which user, or which user what different order he ordered, right? So I need to have some connection between the two. And in order to make the connection, we can create what we call a foreign key. So what is a foreign key? Well, first I will have my table users, let's say. And in my table user, let's say I have a user with ID 1, let's say. So when the user with ID 1 order any order, so what I can do, of course, I'm going to give it a primary key for the order all the time. It will be unique here. And what I can do, I can add, and so let's say the name of the order, and here let's say the price and stuff like that. And I can add extra column, and this column here, I can name it, for example, user ID here. I can name it user underscore ID, or you can name it whatever you want to. Now, this user ID, it will give me the ID of the user order this or make this order. So for example, I can say user 1 make of his order 1, we user 1 make order 2 as well. Then user 2 make order 3, and then blah, 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 user 4 make the order 10, for example. So as you can see, now I have some connection between these two tables. How? Well, as you can see, I have user ID here. And because I have user ID, this value and this value, it will be the same. Voila. And what I can do here, I can select all the order where user ID, which will be, for example, 1, and it will show me all the order belong to user with ID 1 or user with ID 2 or user with ID 3. So this guy here, this column here, as you can see, it's connecting to my primary key, which belong to the user table. And now we call this guy here, this column, which will be in a different table, we call it foreign key. Foreign key. Yes. Question? Are you talking or asking? Samuel. Okay, guys. So this guy here, so we need to have some sort of connection. It's called relational database for a reason. We need to make a relation between this table and this table. Otherwise, I will not know which order belong to which user. So what I can do, I can add another field, and this other field, I can just name it user ID or whatever you want to name it. And here I can just add, whenever I have a new order, I can add the user ID. And like that, I will know which order or how many order belong to user 1, how many order belong to user 2, how many order belong to user 3, and so on. So of course, this user, it will be this value and this value here, it will be exactly the same, because when I have user 1 here, I could have all the order belong to user 1, and I can have multiple 1, but all these order belong to user 1, as you know. So that's what you call, this one we call primary key, and for the other table, we call it foreign key. Is the idea clear, guys? So a foreign key allow me to make a connection between different table. Let's see. Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
Of course, we need to study it in practice. Maybe tomorrow I will create a table user, and after that I will create a table order. And like that, I will know which order belong to which user. And making these relations between different tables, that's why we call them relational database. So it is important. We have different type of relationship. For example, we have one-to-one. That means, for example, one user could have one school. So let's say if it's school here, one user here could have one specific school. He cannot have, for example, two schools because you go to one school. We could have one-to-many. One-to-many, what's that supposed to mean? One user can have multiple order. So this relation, we call it one-to-many. So we could have one-to-one or one-to-many, depend really what we are trying to connect. In our example here, we are trying to connect the order with the user. And as you know, a user could have multiple orders. That means the relation, it will be one user could have multiple orders. So it will be one-to-many. Is the idea clear?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What do I want from you to do? So we've gone through a lot of stuff, as you can see, a lot of crappy stuff here. What I want from you to do, I want you to connect to your SQL server. If you are not able to connect, I will check with you now. Actually, let me stop recording.